to the Awesome Book Awards 2020. My name's Neil Brooks and I'm the headmaster of Cranleigh Preparatory School, and of course we would normally be welcoming many of you into the school for the awards, but unfortunately this year we're having to do it through a virtual event which you can enjoy at home. Who of us doesn't want to escape our restricted lives? At the moment we're stuck in our homes, having to live in our living rooms, bathrooms, bedrooms, kitchens. Those of us who are lucky enough can escape into the garden. But wouldn't it be wonderful to go on a journey, to experience magical lands, to meet interesting characters? Well, of course we can. We can if we shuffle ourselves away from our screens and get our heads stuck into a book for 20 minutes. What a wonderful journey we can undertake. And we've had 5 fantastic books on the shortlist this year, with Impossible Journeys, Walking Houses, Pipers and Dragons, and books which inspire us to be kind and empathetic to our friends. So I hope you really enjoy this virtual event, and we'll find out who wins the Awesome Book Award 2020.
Hello, I'm TAMSIN Winter, and I am delighted to announce that the winner of this year's Awesome Book Award will be announced very soon. I was absolutely thrilled to win the award last year for my book being Miss Nobody, and I so wish we could all be together celebrating this year's shortlist in the beautiful setting of Cranleigh School. Unfortunately, here I am making a speech in my kitchen. It's not exactly the same, but I have put my sparkly frock on, and I hope that this will still be a special moment for the winner, for all of the shortlisted authors, and most importantly for you amazing readers at home. Since the event last year, my second book, Jemima Small versus the Universe, has come out, and I'll be reading a short extract to you in a moment. Jemima Small is exceptionally smart, she's exceptionally funny, she's exceptional in so many ways actually, but when she looks in the mirror she feels like nothing. She's called Jemima Big by practically everybody at school, and she's teased and bullied to such an extent that actually when she gets this amazing opportunity to audition for her favourite TV quiz show, Brainiacs, she actually doesn't want to take part. This is the moment where Jemima is about to start year 8 and she is dreading it. According to my Auntie Luna, when you wish on the stars, it gets beamed out into the universe. She says if you keep wishing, eventually the universe will listen and it will come true. But when it's the first full moon of the year, Auntie Luna strips totally naked and bathes in moonlight to capture its cosmic energy, so she's not exactly a reliable source of information. Anyway, no matter how much wishing I did, my body stayed the same shape, and my mum didn't reappear either. The human heart is 9 centimetres wide, but the empty space inside mine felt bigger than the universe sometimes. I still wasn't immune to the name-calling, even after my first year at Clifton Academy. I'd been called Jemima Big so many times, my heart should have developed antibodies or something. But it didn't, which is probably why hearing the nasty stuff whispered about me during the end-of-year awards ceremony kind of hurt. Being clever when you look like me isn't a formula for success. My achievements just meant everyone gawped at me, like they'd never seen someone my size holding a certificate before. And instead of feeling proud, I felt disapproval clinging to my skin each time I went up. So when Ada McAvoy in year 9 tripped over a chair walking up to the front, I did feel bad for her, but mostly I felt grateful no one was looking at me anymore. And she knocked into this annoying boy in my class called Caleb Humphreys, which was an added bonus. So I was sort of dreading the first day back. I knew people would look to see if I'd had some kind of dramatic transformation over the summer. Well, I hadn't. I was still Jemima Big, and stupidly, I thought that would be the worst thing. But it's like when you look up at the night sky. What you see isn't the whole picture, and it wasn't long before I started wishing that the entire universe had an escape hatch. As every reader out there will know, Jemima Small's true story can't really start there with her just wishing. She must step up for her life to be different, because that's how characters have adventures. I think that's what I love the most about writing stories for young people. That moment the character steps up, takes a risk, does something bold, steps into the unknown, even if the unknown is a dangerous or difficult place to be. I love that moment when a character starts believing in themselves. For me, that's where the magic exists in the story. I think that is actually the thread that kind of holds all of these shortlisted books together. That thread of bravery, which is sewn into all of them. We've held our breath as Patch summons the courage to step into the darkness. We've stood right there on the edge of the water as Cymbeline tries to unravel the mysteries of his past. We've witnessed the radical difference someone can make by smiling at the boy at the back of the class. We've gazed through the gate with Marinka as her world spins on its axis, or on its legs. And our hearts have quickened as Susie runs alongside the train to impossible places and jumps aboard. And that is what great books do. They take us with them. And in doing so, they teach us the importance of taking action. Action that we know in our hearts is the right thing to do. One of my favourite moments to write in Jemima Small versus the Universe, which is available in all good bookshops, by the way, just throwing that out there. It's the moment where she looks in the mirror and she starts to see all of the invisible things reflected back to her. She sees her strength, her bravery, her determination, her ambition, her power. She sees all of those invisible things that we can never weigh or measure, but things that will ultimately decide our path, and they're the things that matter the most. Thank you so much to Cranleigh School for continuing to celebrate children's literature at a time when we need it the most. Congratulations to all of the shortlisted authors. I hope all of you out there have enjoyed reading these books. I certainly have. Good luck, everyone. I will be back to announce the winner very soon.
S.A.PATRICK was born in Belfast. When he was a child, he wanted to create video games, become an author, and have magical powers. The first two came true, and if he ever does get magical powers, he hopes that people like dragons and griffins, because there'll suddenly be a lot of them around. A Darkness of Dragons is his first book for children. It's set in a world of dragons, song spells, pipers and battles, where Patch Brightwater is a piper who's thrown into jail for playing a forbidden song spell. Inside, he discovers a deadly truth. The evil Pied Piper of Hamelin is on the loose. With the help of Wren, a girl cursed to live as a rat, and Barber, a fire-breathing dracogryph, Patch must stop the pipers sparking the biggest battle of them all. Here's S.A.PATRICK to tell us more.
Hi, I'm S.A.PATRICK, author of Darkness of Dragons. First, thanks to the organisers of the Awesome Book Awards for having my book in the shortlist for this year. And what a shortlist it is. I'm thrilled that A Darkness of Dragons is sitting alongside such a great collection of books. Thanks also to everyone shadowing the award. I certainly don't envy you having to choose a winner, but you will enjoy the process. I've been asked to read a little from the book, so I recorded the whole first chapter specially, but I thought I'd read a little something extra here. This is the story of the Pied Piper of Hamelin. When Patch was younger, his grandmother had often told him the story of the Hamelin Piper, but only when he pestered her. She preferred to tell him about the adventures of the 8 as they hunted him down and caught him, rather than the horrors that had led to their quest in the first place. She would say, "I don't want to frighten you, Patch," and he would insist, "It doesn't scare me, Nan." Eventually she would give in, and Patch would thrill at the tale, but he had lied to her about it not scaring him. He knew that once she was gone, the instant the candle was blown out and the door shut, his courage would fail and he would lie in his bed and tremble, wondering when the long, bony fingers of the Hamlin piper would wrap around the door handle. She always began with the same words which, even when he thought of them now, brought back a strange combination of adventure and terror. Have you heard of the town of Hamlin Patch? It was once overrun with rats. Of course, every town has its rats, but one summer there were so many that the mayor of Hamlin brought in rat catchers from all around, and they did their work. In the past, this had always done the trick, but not this year. At first, the rat catchers were happy. The more rats they caught, it seemed, the more rats they saw, and as they were paid for each rat they killed, there was real money to be made. Then they began to grow nervous. "It's not natural," they said to one another. "We catch 1,000 a day, yet their numbers just keep rising." They began to think the town was cursed, and one by one the rat catchers left. The townsfolk were angry with the mayor for letting them leave, but what else could the mayor do? A piper. Much more expensive than rat catchers, yes, but a piper was the answer. 1,000 gold coins were raised and locked in the town treasury. By early evening, the mayor was sitting in the town hall, surrounded by the most powerful people in Hamlin, writing a letter to summon a piper. 1,000 gold coins, it said, to the piper who rids us of our rats. As he was placing his seal on the envelope, the door to the hall opened wide. There stood a piper so tall and so thin that he seemed to be built entirely of edges. "I heard you had a problem," said the piper. "You did?" said the mayor, wary. He looked at the letter in his hand. "And how did you hear?" "From the 20 rat catchers I met along the road," said the piper. "But now I've arrived, and the rats will soon be gone, for 500 gold coins." The mayor nodded and tried to stop himself from grinning. 500, he thought, only 500. He carefully placed the letter in his pocket before standing, and walked over to the piper. "A hefty price," he said, looking up at the considerably taller man. "Well, if you'd rather find another piper," began the stranger. "We accept," said the mayor. He offered out his hand, and the piper shook it. The piper smiled. Those in the hall smiled back, even though they all thought that the piper's teeth seemed a little sharp and the smile a little cruel.
Adam Barron is the best-selling author of Boy Underwater and You Won't Believe This, as well as 5 novels for adults. His books have won several awards and been translated into 7 different languages. He teaches creative writing at Kingston University and lives in London with his wife and 3 children. The hero of Boy Underwater is the unfortunately named Cymbeline Igloo, and he's never been swimming, not once. But how hard can it be? He's googled front crawl and he's found his dad's old pair of trunks. What he's not ready for is the accident at the pool, or the effect that it has on his mum. Now, with the help of old and new friends, he must solve the mystery of why he's been kept away from water, and it will turn his whole life upside down. Welcome to the virtual Awesome Book Awards, Adam Barron.
Hi there, my name's Adam Barron, and I am the author of this book, the Oxford English Dictionary. No, I'm not. I'm not the author of that. I'm the author of this book, You Won't Believe This, and I'm the author of this book, Boy Underwater, which I was delighted to find out, has been shortlisted for your fantastic book awards. It's always nice to be nominated for an award, but of course yours is awesome, so it must be the best one of all. Thank you so much for including me on this, and thank you so much for all of you who've been reading the book, who've been making comments about the book, writing about the book. I really, really, really hope that you have enjoyed it, and it's an honour for me to be on the shortlist, especially considering how brilliant the other books are as well. Now, I wrote Underwater, as it was called, because my children told me to. I used to write books for adults, and I always do what my children told me to, but I thought I'd just tell you one little story about the title. So I wrote this book, and it was called Underwater. That's what I called it. And the wonderful people at HarperCollins decided to publish it. But then my wonderful editor, Nick Blake, said, there's only one thing I want to change about your book, and it's the title. And I said, no, it's a brilliant title. You must not change my title. Underwater. It's all about being underwater. He said, no, that's fine. We want to call it Boy Underwater. And I said to him, Nick, well, why do you want to do that? And he said, well, if we put boy in the title, boys will want to read it. And I thought, well, okay, what about girls? He said, no. Girls will want to read it as well because something terrible is clearly happening to the boy. And I thought that was genius. So that's why the book is called Boy Underwater. I hope you've been enjoying it. If you are, you can read more about Cymbeline in that one. You won't believe this. And I'm excited to tell you that I've just this week finished my third Cymbeline book, and that'll be out sometime in September. So once again, I'm really, really sorry that I can't be with you. I think we all know why. I'm at home. I have stockpiled 4,000 tins of baked beans, so I think it's probably better that this is happening online for your sake. No, I'm only joking there. Good luck, everybody. Read. And once again, thank you so much for being so kind to put me on your shortlist. Thank you.
ONJALI Q. RAUF worked as assistant editor for Emil magazine, was campaigns manager for Women International UK, and currently works on behalf of a number of regional and international human rights charities and research bodies. She is also founder and CEO of Making Her Story, a self-styled human rights organisation working in partnership with other movements to end the abuse of women and girls worldwide. She has been shortlisted for several awards for her works in the women's rights sector. The Boy at the Back of the Class is ONJALI's first book for children. It begins with a visitor. There used to be an empty chair at the back of the class, but now a new boy, Ahmet, is sitting in it. At first his classmates think that he's strange, but when they find out who he really is, all they want to do is help, which is sometimes easier than it sounds. Here's Cranleigh Prep reader Ted to tell us more.
ONJALI Q. RAUF is busy volunteering for charities who are helping refugees in camps affected by coronavirus. The Boy at the Back of the Class was my favourite book, so I'm reading an extract for her. It was on the third Tuesday after school had started, and Mrs. Khan was taking the register. She was just about to call my name when there was a loud knock at the door. Usually, when there's a knock on the door, it's just someone from another class bringing a note, so no one really pays any attention. But this time it was Mrs. Sanders, the head. Mrs. Sanders always wears her hair in the exact same way and peers over her glasses whenever she talks to anyone. Everyone is scared of her because when she gives detention, she doesn't just make you sit in a room, she makes you memorise long words from the dictionary and doesn't let you leave until you've learned them all off by heart, the meaning and the spelling. I've even heard of lower graders being stuck in detention for hours because they had to learn words that were as long as this page. So when we saw that it was Mrs. Sanders at the door, we all fell silent. She looked very serious as she walked up to Mrs. Khan, and we all wondered who was in trouble. After she had whispered and nodded for a few seconds, she suddenly turned around and, peering over her glass at us, pointed to the empty chair at the back of the class. All of us turned around to have a look at the empty chair. This was the chair.
Hi there, my name is ONJALI RAUF. I'm the author of The Boy at the Back of the Class, and I just want to say thank you to everybody who nominated it and then shortlisted it for the Awesome Book Awards. I'm so ecstatic, and I really hope you had a good time reading it and a good time reading all the other nominees' books too. Thank you again from myself and from Snowy here, and congratulations to whoever the winner is going to be. Thank you again, everyone. Bye.
Sophie Anderson grew up with stories in her blood, from her mother, who's a writer, to her Prussian grandmother, whose own storytelling inspired The House with Chicken Legs. Sophie loves walking, canoeing and daydreaming. She spends every spare minute reading and loves to talk about books online, offline and to anyone else who will listen. Her dream is to create stories that help children to explore the world and fall in love with its beautiful diversity. In this tale, Marinka dreams of a normal life, where her home stays in one place long enough for her to make friends. But her house has chicken legs and it moves without warning. For Marinka's grandmother is Baba Yaga, who guides spirits between this world and the next. Marinka longs to change her destiny, but her house has other ideas. Here's Cranleigh Prep School pupil Bella to tell us more.
Sophie Anderson would have loved to read for you, but she's been very unwell. And she sent a message for you, and here it is. I am absolutely thrilled that The House with Chicken Legs has been shortlisted for the Awesome Book Awards 2020, and I would love to send a huge thank you to all the wonderful readers who have taken the time to adventure with Marinka and The House, and read all of the other fantastic shortlisted books. I hope you all continue to have many reading adventures in the future. Star-filled wishes from Sophie Anderson. We hope Sophie gets well soon. Hot, dry air claws at my throat. The light from the window is dazzlingly bright. I drag myself to look at the view, shielding my eyes with a hand. Sand and more sand. A blazing sun. Heat rippling the air. Not a sign of human habitation in sight. I exhale loudly, trying to blow sweat-damp hair from my forehead. My heart feels so heavy it might fall through my chest. Nothing has ever hurt as much as this, to have my hopes raised, then smashed to pieces, and then the pieces danced on by the stupid chicken legs of the house.
PG Bell is a native of South Wales, where he was raised on a diet of Greek mythology, ghost stories and Doctor Who. He's had all sorts of jobs over the years, from lifeguard to roller coaster operator, but all he's ever really wanted to do is write stories for a living, and now he does. In his first children's book, The Train to Impossible Places, Susie is woken by a strange noise in the night and creeps downstairs to find a train roaring through her house. But this is no ordinary train, and Susie's world is turned upside down when she's asked to deliver a cursed package to a fearsome sorceress. Here's author P.G. Bell with a whistle-stop tour of his book.
Hello, I'm P.G. Bell. I'm the author of the Train to Impossible Places adventures. I'm here at home in Cardiff under lockdown, and I'm really sorry that we can't all be together today to celebrate the Awesome Book Awards, but I just want to thank everyone involved, especially you, the readers and the voters, because it really is a privilege to have my book on such a prestigious shortlist. It's up against so many fantastic titles, and I think whoever you voted for this year, you've made a really, really good choice. So without further ado, I'd like to read a little bit of the story for you, and I hope you enjoy it. This is chapter 3, by the way, Susie's first encounter with the impossible postal express. The last thing Susie saw before she hit the ground was a train erupting in a whirling mass of wheels, rods and pistons from the tunnel mouth. Then she screwed her eyes shut and, for a second, the world was dark and full of noise. Hot steam gusted over her face. Metal screeched and clashed. A whistle howled. She gritted her teeth and clapped her hands over her ears. The scream of brakes reached a crescendo and suddenly died away. There was a last outrush of steam, like a sigh of relief, and everything went quiet. Susie risked opening one eye. She had fallen at the foot of Fletch's tent, her feet just centimetres from the track. Rough hands grasped her shoulders, and she looked up to see Fletch standing over her, pulling her into a sitting position. She was too shocked to resist. "What were you thinking?" he said, hopping from foot to foot in agitation. "You almost became an incident." "A what?" she said, her ears still ringing. "An incident on the line. The worst type of incident it's possible to be." Susie looked at him blankly and wondered what to say. His tone made her want to apologise, but she wasn't sure he deserved it. In fact, didn't he still owe her an apology? She was just gathering her thoughts to say so, when a new voice called out from somewhere high above them. "Fletch, is that you, old chap? What the dickens is going on down there?" They both looked up towards the source of the voice, and Susie almost fell backwards in surprise. A mighty old steam locomotive towered over her, hissing and shuddering and belching yellowish steam from its chimney. It was bigger than any locomotive Susie had seen before. At least, bits of it were. To her eyes, it looked like a large train had smashed into several smaller ones, and maybe a few buildings along the way, and the parts had all got mixed up and stuck together. Its chimney was too wide, none of the drive wheels quite matched, and the cylindrical belly of its boiler was too fat at the front and too narrow at the back. The driver's cab was nothing less than a neat little red brick cottage, complete with tiled roof, window boxes and a bright red front door which stood open on the near side of the boiler. It was from here that the voice had come, and, as Susie watched, a small figure scampered out of the cottage and onto a narrow gangway that ran along the length of the locomotive's flank, a metre or so above the wheels. The figure carried a lantern and shone the light directly down on Fletch like a spotlight. "Fletch, we didn't just have an incident, did we?" Susie tried to make out the figure's face, but it was just a black patch of shadow behind the glare of the lantern. "It's worse than that, Stonker," said Fletch. "Look." He hooked a thumb in Susie's direction, and the light swung over to cover her. "Good grief! A local! And it's awake!" So there you go. There's just a snippet of the start of Susie's adventures in the impossible places. And I hope that you enjoyed reading them, and thanks to all of you who voted for it. And I hope you're having a fantastic time and keeping safe and well at home. And maybe I'll see a few of you somewhere along the way once this lockdown is finished. Thank you very much.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to my kitchen. I have had a bit of an outfit change. You know, this is like the Oscars for me. It's been a while since I've had a night out, even though this is technically still a night in. It's still really exciting. I have in this envelope the winner of the Awesome Book Award. I just want to say huge congratulations to all of the shortlisted authors, and an amazing well done to all of the readers who have been furiously reading and voting. So, without further ado, I haven't even peeked at this, so I'm so excited. I am absolutely honoured to announce that the winner of the Awesome Book Awards 2020 is Boy Underwater by Adam Barron. Huge congratulations, Adam. Such a beautiful book. I'm sending you so much congratulations from here. I wish we could be partying all together, but sadly it's just me on my own and my phone in my kitchen. Thank you so much to Cranleigh School, and huge congratulations to Adam. Well done, and I hope to see you all soon.
Well, thank you for joining us for the Awesome Book Awards 2020. The panel is already working hard to narrow down the shortlist for the books in 2021, and I can tell you that it's going to be as exciting as this year. If you want to join us, and we hope you do, please register your interest at awesomebookawards.com, and we look forward to welcoming you next year.